War over free energy, Moon as a weapon. Many times it has been discussed that the angelic humans on the planet Earth are in the midst of a war over energy, which is a war over consciousness, as well as a war over timelines, while most of the human population are asleep to this fact. Through many wars and genocidal campaigns that have been taking place over many lifetimes, including alien hybridization breeding programs to infect our original blood and DNA, the intruding races gradually took away more and more of our natural energy resources and blank slated our history during the end of major astrological cycles. Major outfits of alien machinery or black hole technology was further installed approximately every 6,500 years, or broken down more specifically to 6,480 years, during each quarter of the 26,000-year cycle. They did this to gain control over the magnetosphere through the manipulation of the dodecahedron geometry, which has great influence on organic magnetism, carbon matter, and manifesting timelines. By gaining control over the properties of the dodecahedron and its connection to our Sun, by running and merging artificial magnetism tied to the lunar matrix, this combination was used as a weapon to induce surface weather catastrophes such as major global floods. We have discovered that the dodecahedron, which is a primary Platonic solid geometry connected to ether and liquid plasmas transmitted by our Sun, have 6,480 degrees, which is the sum of the angles of all of its faces. Tesla told us that ether behaves as a liquid for matter and as a solid for light and heat, and the other geometries act as the building blocks of our matrix, which need the structural framework of the ether component. Through the dodecahedron geometry, which is the ether function, the rest of the Platonic solids and elements are organized within all of the energy flows into specific frequency patterns throughout our dimensions of time and space. The bottom line for the negative alien agenda, to control the dodecahedron properties of 6,480 degrees, and by doing so, have control over matter forms and what manifests on the Earth's surface. This is geometric or geodetic knowledge behind the rigged system of creating the prison planet, and has played a significant role in how this hidden invasion was accomplished by the invaders. Our newsletter refers to graphics that might be supportive in helping to illustrate this concept. Catastrophic flooding, earthquakes, and volcanic activity have been a major tool of the negative alien agenda to bury, hide, and destroy ancient artifacts, structures, and buildings that reflect an established human culture, as well as the remaining evidence of advanced technologies of human civilization. Curiously, while writing this, NASA has set out several propaganda news pieces on the history of moon wobbles and catastrophic flooding destroying the Earth's surface, suggesting we brace for impact. It may be noted that in the negative alien agenda's violent religion propaganda, they are especially fond of pushing narratives around catastrophic floods, said to be the result of humans angering the gods. Catastrophic floods are a part of the Armageddon software that the negative alien agenda likes to use to trigger collective humanity's previous traumas around flooding, as certainly Every person on this planet has the horrible flood memory in their subconscious. As recent as the late 1800s, major global flooding occurred, yet the historical evidence of this catastrophic event was totally erased from public knowledge, while the controllers pushed for mass immigration into the United States. Millions of people that entered the United States at the turn of the century would not remember the previous culture or history, while newer buildings and cities were planned on top of the buried evidence of our past. History is rewritten by the victors. The children are educated to believe the new falsified accounts of history. The same negative alien agenda playbook for engineering the Great Reset is happening right now to intentionally displace populations for mass diaspora, destroying local culture, targeting children with false history and control ideology, introducing disease pandemics, engineering false flag events or potential wars, destroying and censoring public records and public discourse, inciting mass terrorism and confusion through the media, inventing classifications to anger and further divide the people, and to soft kill those that don't comply, and then rinse and repeat. Thousands of years ago, this agenda was a planned, gradual takeover of the planetary field in which the magnetosphere would be controlled with artificial magnetic and gravitational anomalies, with the knowledge that it could also be used as global mind control device to collapse human consciousness into very low states so that our original DNA would remain unplugged. In such a consciousness state, where angelic humans are being starved of our natural solar frequency levels, starved of oxygen, starved of pure water and foods, starved from connection with nature, starved from disconnection with our inner spirit while being overlaid with lunar forces and artificial magnetism, we fell into a deep slumber. While we were in this state of slumber and forced reincarnation, the negative alien agenda and their controller bloodlines changed our timelines, erased our history, destroyed the evidence of the artifacts, brought in the moon, and stole our advanced knowledge by performing a great reset of erasing global records every 2,160 years until more recently when they upped their game to every odd 100 years. They have a penchant for catastrophic flooding, as it efficiently buried many advanced civilizations under avalanches of mud or volcanic ash very quickly, which saved them the time and resources of destroying the evidence of civilizations by using DEW weapons on a one-by-one basis. Although it appears that DEW weapons, these are directed energy weapons, were used by the negative alien agenda even thousands of years ago on the Earth during specific Christos missions on the ground in order to obliterate access to technological devices and structures that were being used to protect team members. We have recently tracked the introduction of the artificial satellite moon base in which the proportions of the moon were made to be proportionate to a time cycle that is identical to the series of cataclysmic floods that were being used as weapons in previous timelines on the Earth's surface. This recon was for the purpose of completely destroying the possibility of the use of the moon base and artificial magnetism to generate yet another catastrophic flood, as NASA has dutifully warned us as the dire message given from their Archon masters. The radius of the moon is stated to be 1,080 miles. The diameter of the moon is stated to be double that at 2,160 miles. If we multiply the diameter of 2,160 miles by 108, we get the supposed distance between the Earth and the Moon of 233,280 miles. The lunar matrix of false magnetism transmitted from the Moon is designed to emit artificial waves in the geometric shape of 8 lines of reflective symmetry in octagonal cymatic shapes, and the internal angles of any octagon is 1,080 degrees. The octagon shape has a 1080 hertz frequency that can be doubled harmonically to form into and transmit black cube geometries with a 2160 hertz frequency. The Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem is the second Grail Stargate that was built with an octagonal floor plan, aligning it with the moon base, and therefore a black cube matrix. We can notice octagon geometry can be found in many ancient structures built on powerful ley lines throughout the Earth grid, as well as black cube designs used for religious worship, such as in Mecca. This all goes back to moon and lunar control. The moon's artificial matrix became an embedded source of magnetic control with a primary octagonal pattern made in sound waves to manipulate and harvest massive amounts of energy from the Earth grid network. The Octagon Group is located in Davos, Switzerland, and is the same group behind the current World Economic Forum and the fourth wave of the transhumanist Great Reset that have a black sun chain of command extending to the moon and other planets. These same lunar entities and their preferred bloodlines have been administering to an assortment of surface cataclysms by obliterating chosen demographic areas for decimation. The moon, as a magnetic weapon, has been a part of their arsenal against human beings on the surface, and which gratefully, during this next cycle, will not be operational due to Guardian Host protective intervention. For the last 20 years, it has been the mission to gain clarity on the hidden galactic history of timeline wars so that those of us that are on the ground crew of the Christos mission can understand in detail what has happened to the Earth and humanity in the current time. Now we enter the first stages of the Great Awakening, where humanity learns more about the lost knowledge of human civilization and begins to recognize that the rewritten history is also much closer to us in current time. As just a few hundred years ago, we had access to levels of technology that are lost today, and now is the right time to gather the information and begin to pull on those threads that hold the fabric of time together. Original angelic human beings were not drooling cavemen, and we did not come from apes. Angelic humans lived in an advanced technological culture with free energy as one people on one planet. All of the race, religion, sex, and meaningless classifications were set up as discriminating factors for fabricating mind control belief systems that were created by the archons running the Octagon Group and others, using lunar forces through genetic and social engineering to intentionally divide and conquer humanity for their alien masters. What if every single historical event you have learned in the Rockefeller-controlled and approved educational curriculum was an utter and total fabrication designed to indoctrinate the human population into the slave class? What if what we were taught about our nation, our culture, our way of life on the earth, our beliefs in medicine, history, religion, financial and economic theories were based upon intentionally crafted archontic deceptions and was a total and utter lie? Would it be possible to believe that up to approximately 200 years ago, humanity had some areas with free energy sources, gorgeous architectural structures designed from the ancient builder races, generating atmospheric energy, as proven by Tesla? The planet was covered with historical artifacts and indisputable evidence of our advanced human culture until it was destroyed by directed energy weapons, floods, or weather cataclysms that were artificially generated by a non-human species invading our planet. Who are we now without the false history and culture we have been brainwashed to accept as our own? What if these intruders are putting into play right now with the Great Reset the same warfare tactics that have been used against humanity several times already to mind wipe our current history into another digression of complete and total consciousness slavery, this time as a transhuman robot? This is a defining moment in our historical timeline in order to face the truth of what is coming to be revealed about the lost knowledge of human civilization. Many awakening people, starseeds and indigos, are awakening to their higher role, to be the investigator, truth seeker, and curator of digging and finding these historical records, piecing together dates and historical accounts as an archivist would, providing a platform for the foundation of disseminating the release of some of these records into the public. This is a big piece, supporting the global disclosure events and piecing together the hidden human history of even just the last 100 years. We do not have a trustworthy media, and so it will be up to some of us to act with integrity to serve humanity in this capacity. It will mean that we need nerves of steel, a strong core self, and a deep and profound relationship with God so that we can be the strong foundation and anchor rock for our families, loved ones, and friends. What is going to be revealed in the years to come is so shocking that it will rock the foundation of every last one of us at any level of spiritual development, as the depth and complexity of the deceptions and lies to erase our timelines and steal everything from our species is completely and utterly mind-boggling. We need each other to survive this greater revelation of truth during the disclosure events. And so it is with this awareness that we can prepare to be ready for anything and to hold on to nothing, to become as mentally flexible and open-minded as possible. May all truth seekers act ethically and in the best interests of all of humanity, as the rabbit hole will continue on into areas where we had not dare even to imagine.